Tio, 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 what have you done to the lightweight division? Let's turn to. Tio, what have you done to the division, the lightweight division? But welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. To all my Facebookers, welcome. You can always join in. I have the phone number scrolling at the bottom. You can come into the studio and join in the chat or beam in. I'm gonna put the link into the chat right here for a second. All right. So before I get into Teofimo and what he has done to the lightweight division, I do want to make a um I want to make a little statement here. It's not real crucial or nothing. It's just something I saw. Um I saw something about PBC. I guess they're pundits or commentators saying that Usyk and Fury are now the parallel champions. And I guess they're trying to start the narrative already about the importance of these two guys. I don't have a problem with that per se. I just want them to keep the same energy because when I read it, I first thought, Joshua held all three titles for a while now, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. And Deontay held his title for 5 years and had 10 title defense. And they never said that about them two. But soon as Usyk win, here they come with the Fury and Usyk. Now the upside to this is that we're gonna see if they keep that same energy in about 2 weeks. Like I said, it's no problem if you want to have that narrative. I just need y'all to be consistent and fair across the board. If y'all gonna build them up like the second coming, they're parallel champions, they up there. But then all these years, these last couple of years, I had to listen to how irrelevant Deontay Wilder was, how insignificant he was. I had to watch as you guys either didn't put him on a pound for pound list for heavyweights or had him at a very low standing on that list. But not Usyk and not Fury, even though Fury is not an up and up fighter. For my opinion, I don't know how you judge a cheater. But this is what they saying. And I see now that they already starting the narrative. So in the end of the day, I just want to see in 2 weeks, do they keep that same energy? That's all I wanted to say. I'm not gonna browbeat nobody or be all upset, but I'm noticing it as it starts. And I just wanted to point that out. But on to what my caption talked about. What have Teofimo Lopez done to the lightweight division? And with everything that be going on, people catching COVID, cancellation of fights, um, reasons why fights can't get made, all the tomfoolery that's going on. You know, um, we got to know why is this happening in the lightweight division? Like, What's really good. And the crazy part is, we all know that heavyweights are the creme de la creme. They just are. DJ in the building was popping king. Heavyweights are the creme de la creme. They always have been. They always will be. But we know that heavyweights can experience a lull moment. And for that matter, any division could. But during the Floyd Mayweather era, when he was active, it was about the welterweight division. And that's all credit due to him, to what he did, how he did it. You might not like it. You might not like everything about Floyd, but he put welterweight division on the map. That's not to say that people like Sugar Ray Robinson didn't lay the pathway, or Sugar Ray Leonard, or Tommy Hearns, or Roberto Duran, or even Marvin Hagler, who was probably more of a super welterweight, junior middleweight. That's not to say that they didn't lay down the pathway either, because Floyd only improved upon the road that they opened for him, and then he opened roads for people to come behind him. But the lightweight division has a unique opportunity to be somewhat of a glory division where their boxers can demand money and they can make a lot of money, because we know that the bigger you are, the more you go up in weight, the more that you're gonna like make the money. And the lightweight division has that opportunity, but there's too much going on. So I decided to look at it and really focus on the top dog in the division, which is Teofimo Lopez. No matter how we feel about him, no matter whether you like him or not, he is the top dog in that division. And they got some heavy hitters. So once again, Teofimo Lopez fight with George Cambosa has been either canceled or is trying to be moved to a tentative date. Why? We could pick either reason. We could pick a number of reasons. It could be the lack of interest in the fight, that they deem the fans don't have that much of an interest. The non-ticket sales, you know, they might not be selling as much as they want to at a certain time, so they can gauge whether or not this is going to be a success, or competing with football and baseball. And I know DJ, you're gonna be like, you can't compete with football. And I don't know if you watch baseball, DJ, but apparently you can't compete with them either. Okay, so now they want to move the fight because they now see that is, I guess it's an important game. The Raiders against, I want to say the Chargers, is going down that Monday night, October 4th, and they don't want to compete with that, and nor probably could they even compete with it. So now Triller is interested in moving the fight yet again. DJ adamant about that. He said nobody can compete with football. I hear you, player. I don't watch football that much, but I know people are serious about their football. And somebody like George Cambosa wouldn't understand. He's not from America. What they call football, where he at, is soccer. What we call soccer. I don't even know if they got a football team like we got them over. I want to say they don't. So to him, it's just a lot of tomfoolery going on. You moving the fight yet again. Like George Cambosa is getting sick of it because he don't see the relevance in our baseball and football. He might know of it, but it's not a big deal to him because it's not his culture. But in America, those games are big deals, and it's kind of Triller fault on this one. And just right here, we're trying to schedule something around the same time people are going to be watching those games. That can't be on the fighters. That got to be on the promoter or the person doing the event. Now the fighters could have spoke up. T.O. could have said, "Hey, wait a minute now. Baseball going down on that Tuesday, so definitely can't do it there. Hey, wait a minute now, and you can't move up. Why you just didn't move forward till Wednesday night?" To my knowledge, I don't think football goes down on Wednesday. Correct me if I'm wrong, DJ. Why not move it to the 6th? Why move it up to Monday night? I couldn't tell you. Now, the fight originally started off being set for May, and then it was moved to June 19th. Now, T.O. came down with COVID, and that's speculative because we haven't seen proof or whatever. But let's say we take his word at it. Then they talked about moving it to August 14th, and they could have, but they didn't. Then they, you know, they settled on the date of October 5th. Now Triller had Jake Paul in August, and they had the fight with Evander in September. Triller could have threw that fight on either one of them cards and would have been all right, but they didn't do it. Missed opportunity is what I would call it, and that's bad decisions on their part. That again, that has nothing to do with the fighters. But I do hold T.O. accountable for some of this stuff. I do not hold Camboso responsible for nearly none of it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So I asked the question: whose fault is it, and who will suffer the most for it? And I say both of their faults. I blame T.O. and I blame Triller. But all of the fighters involved is going to suffer. Even the people who were supposed to be on the undercard. DJ said Teofimo Jr. should vacate and move up. Josh Taylor has one more fight at 140, in my opinion, and then he'll move up to 147. T.O. Jr. will be in position to fight for the WBO title immediately. True, indeed. And I think he wants to, DJ. I think he wants to. But since he made a big to do about this Camboso fight, finish what you started. But he talks like after the Camboso fight, he done. He moving. And I can't get mad at him when other fighters do it too. Terrence, and that's my guy. He got those belts and he dropped them and moved up. That's what they all do. And it's not to say, if Earl gets all the belts at 147, guess what he gonna do? He gonna drop them and move up. You know, if I don't know what Jermell Charlo would have done had he won that fight. Would he have moved up? I know him and his brother don't have a interest in fighting in the same division. It's not like Jamel can jump up to 168. It'd be a stretch for him. He seemed like he more comfortable at 154. So maybe Jamel would have stayed and just defended his title as much as he could. But this is what fighters do. So I'm not gonna get mad at T.O. if he does it. But then I have to be mad at everybody else who does it. Mike 202 in the building was popping king. He said, according to Dan Rafael, Cambosa hasn't signed off on the October 16th date and is requesting a six-figure increase to fight. I would too. I would too, because they jerking him around. As I say, in this situation, Camboso is really not at fault. And I don't see it as a large stretch for him to ask for extra money. And they should pay him. DJ says Floyd was notorious for winning a belt and dropping them. And you remember Floyd didn't think much of the motherfuckers anyway. And he sure did drop it. And Floyd broke a lot of records and everything, but to my knowledge, he hasn't been undisputed. Lisa in the building was popping queen. So I don't blame. If I'm gonna get mad at that, and technically I prefer them to stay in their division when they win undisputed and defend it. I want to see that. But I will never get mad when I see that everybody does it. That would be hypocritical of me or being biased. And I promise I would not on purpose be biased. So, Camboso, he kind of got clean hands on this one. But it is T.O. and Triller's fault. And surprisingly, I'm saying Triller more than them. But T.O. played a part. And I'm going to tell you how he played a part. And he's hurting his brand, as well as dragging Camboso down with him. Because Camboso can't look like he's so in opposition of everything anybody's saying. You have to think as these fighters, they cannot be on missing opportunities and stuff, because you never know when one could come back. And this is going to be the highest pay, even if Triller lose the purse bid by not honoring the contract and fighting, and they'll lose their purse bid to go to Eddie Hearn. Even if it go to Eddie Hearn, that's still is a big payday compared to what either one of them have ever gotten. So I can see Camboso, he's in a conundrum. He got a dilemma on his hand. I would say just stay ready. make Triller pay you. Just it's Triller got to get better at it. They want to come into this boxing world. They want to get in this boxing streets. They got to learn when to move and not to move. They got to learn the business. If they fail sometimes and come up short, take the lesson and do better the next time. That's all you can do. But all this stalling, trying to wait for a better result, you're not gonna get it. Okay, y'all done fucked around and waited till football season, and I think the baseball season they got playoffs, and then basketball gonna be starting in November. Y'all done fucked around and waited to the wrong dates. You should have been on that shit. DJ said, yeah, TL Jr. was trying to get this fight in Australia at first, but with their COVID-19 restrictions, it's hard to get in and out of the country, and they wouldn't have had fans at their fight. True indeed. True indeed. But again, I don't understand why they didn't take advantage of August 14th. And if they didn't want to take advantage of that date, why didn't they throw them guys on the goddamn Jake Paul Triller event? And then if you couldn't do that one, the September 11th Triller event, they made out good with those events without TL and them. You gotta pay these guys anyway. Just get it over with, Triller. You guys are acting. You have no idea. They don't have no idea when it comes to coordinating. When it comes to other sports and stuff involved, think people put out dates in advance for a reason. You're not gonna outdo the NFL. You ain't, man. People been waiting all summer for this shit. Really, the spring and the summer for football. They not giving that shit. You is not competing with it. That's a money maker guaranteed. They gonna get their viewers. And then when basketball start in November, hang it up. I definitely don't watch baseball. I can't even do that. But I understand that it's America's sport, America's favorite pastime. And just because I don't watch it, that don't mean that it's not popular. It's way more popular than what my opinion of it is. You say, yeah, TL Jr. and Triller definitely screwed this up. They did. But I blame Triller more. I hold T.O. accountable too. So let me go down a few steps that he was doing while he was out here looking crazy. Now, I'm a fan of T.O.'s. Like him as a fighter. I think he's an excellent fighter. I was happy that he did beat Lomachenko. But some of that shit went to your head, T.O. And at first I was like, let him have it. He been boxing since he was a little kid. Now he finally arrived at his day in the sun. Let him have it. Let him, just, kick off some steam or whatever and talk his shit and swallow spit. You're going too far, T.O. And you looking crazy. So, he was under Bob Arum. Uh, he was undercut by Bob Arum, that is, by letting this go into a purse bid. Bob Arum didn't think that T.O. was worth it. So T.O. was like, fuck it, I'll go to a purse bid. And that's a strategy that when it happened, he got all the praise. Everybody was like, look at what T.O. did. But look how it turned out. But Bob is the smart one in the end of the day. Because everything always been back to his favor. But Bob felt like he wasn't worth it. Why did Bob feel like he wasn't worth it? In my opinion, I'm just saying this in my opinion, there's levels to that shit with Bob. First is whites, and then it's Latinos, and then it's blacks. And I'm not sure where Asians fit in. That's Bob. That's not me. He'll tell you straight up. He don't believe that black fighters sell, which is crazy. We buy the most pay-per-views and we spend the most money in this country alone, economically. Like we spend more money than any other racial group. But he gets away with saying that shit. If Teofimo was Lomachenko, wouldn't be no issue. But he not. Bob don't want to pay nobody. He probably getting more stingier like Ebenezer Scrooge and shit in his old age. But that was the problem with T.O. So now you see your promoter don't really got your best interest at heart. Now, when you realize that, Till, you should be like, I don't want to be with him no more. So I gotta bide my time until I get up out of here. Cause this is on the bigger and better things. I didn't got the belts off of his favorite. He ain't getting that shit back. And I wasn't mad at that decision of T.O.'s not to give Loma a rematch. Loma don't give nobody a rematch. He ain't give Gary Russell a rematch. Lomo don't care about none of that shit. Lomo do what he want to do. He says next to nothing, and he keep it pushing. And nobody gives him a hard time because you know what? He was a white man making his decision, and that's final. But everybody got something to say when fighters of color do something or say the same thing. Loma Chico ain't worried about it. He getting his just rewards for whatever he feel he's worthy of. DJ said, yeah, you don't cross the Bob father unless you have the cachet like Floyd, Manny, Cotto, or De La Hoya. All those guys had to leave Bob. All those guys had to leave him because he's he got some shit with him. And me personally, when you know how they say when if black people do better, then everybody rise. So like if we have an issue when we fought for civil rights and this, that, and the other, once we got it, everybody got it. It's always like that. We was talking like we can't vote, we can't do this. Y'all know how many times they had a Civil Rights Act bill? They was having them since after the Civil War. But the one that really had teeth was the one in 64 and 65. That's the one that had teeth. And guess what? It helped women, disabled folks. It helped all kind of people. But if we didn't push that, and we wasn't saying, look, we trying to get just some rights. But when we got our rights, so did other people. The only people that always had rights and privileges from the jump in this country is the white man. And Bob likes that world. And once you realize that your promoter, the man who works for you, or the woman who works for you, is saying things contrary to you, you got to be looking for the back door. I thought that's what T.O. was doing. You said even Mikey Garcia had to sacrifice 2 years of his career to get away from Bob Arum. Everybody can't be wrong. You are exactly right, DJ. Everybody comes to that conclusion. And Bob is probably stingy with other white fighters too, truth be told. But Bob is Bob. He tells you how he is. I get it if you just starting out fighting and you need somebody, you need to get your feet wet. I get it. Don't sign your life away, but I get it. But once you can stand on your own, just a little bit, that's all it takes, just a little bit, then you need to go ahead and stand on your own and be secure with the decisions that you're making for yourself. And don't flip flop around. Sometimes you can make a decision and it can be a wrong decision. You ride that motherfucker out. Take the lesson. That's what you do. You don't be like, oh, let me fix it in the midst of trying to fix it. No, sometimes we don't make the best decision, but experience is a good teacher, right? That's what it is. Take the lesson and keep it pushing. So back to T.O. and Bob. You knew he wasn't good for you. You knew he didn't have your best interest at heart. Those your words. That's how you felt, T.O. But instead of looking for the back door, you try to play games. This nigga been playing games before you was a twinkle in your daddy eye. Talking about Bob Arum. I'm saying this to T.O. T.O., he been playing games before you was a twinkle in your daddy eye. Please. I mean, Bob probably was playing games before your daddy was a twinkle in his daddy eye. To be honest. I mean, Bob got you by years. And there's no sense of even playing those games. You have become, according to them, the undisputed champion. Well, we know that Devin Haney has the WBC regular belt. But if they call you undisputed, I rock with whatever they say. I'm not getting into that battle. Long as Devin still got his belt and is recognized, no harm, no foul. You know what I'm saying? But T.O. believes himself to be undisputed. Well, if you believe that, then now you know you are a notable person. Bet on yourself. But everybody, that's what we thought you did when you let it go to purse bid. And Bob wasn't happy with that. He's most certainly won't. And he probably was saying in the back of his head, like, this young whippersnapper think he doing something. I'm gonna have to spank that ass. Cause look, in the end of the day, who winning? Bob. Bob is winning. I could say the same thing with Terrence Crawford. Bob will always come out on top, and y'all know I love Terrence Crawford. So it went to purse bid, right? And then, like I said, T.O. was complaining about Bob and acting like he wanted to jump ship. Now I'm gonna remind y'all of one time T.O. kind of confronted what's his name, Eddie Hearn. What DJ said, I hope Shakur has noticed how Bob has treated Bud and doesn't resign with him when the time comes. Yeah, I do too. But sometimes people just like to be worker bees, DJ. When we on barbershop conversation and Fred be saying bet on yourself, he telling you the truth. But the other part of that is that I see that some people they just do better as worker bees. They want to. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You gotta have a charisma or personality or something within you to be a leader or independent. It just you can't fake that shit. It's got to be a part of you. And if you know that's not a part of you, then it would be silly of you to make moves like you are. So that's what I be thinking about when they do what they do. I just said, they just don't have it in them. And I can't be mad. I don't know what's need to be done to get it in them, but they just don't have it in them. Maybe some more years of catching the short end of the stick. Because I believe that can make anybody be like, you know what? Enough with all this shit. Tired of this shit, Ike. Remember when she said that? I'm tired of this shit, Ike. She was tired of this shit. And it made her look at things a whole lot different. But some people it take that much to get them to that point. So T.O. was looking like he was gonna jump ship. But secretly, he probably was trying to renegotiate then. But you remember when he came up in front of Eddie, and I don't know the exact words, but the gist of it was, they was trying to cut some kind of deal with Eddie. And on camera, Eddie was like, hey, I can't talk to you about that. And I'm putting my stank on it. But Eddie was like, you reckless eyeballing right now. You are reckless eyeballing. And I'm sure if they would have cut a deal eventually, and when Bob and Eddie and all those promoters get around each other, Eddie would be like with his chest out, like, hey, you know the deal. Your bitch chose me. That's how I took it. That is exactly how I took that whole interaction. I don't know who had it. I don't know if Ellie Setback had that video. I don't know if Fight Hype, somebody. But T.O. got caught trying to push up on Eddie, and Eddie was like, you reckless eyeballing right now. I can't do that. We can't do that. You under contract with Bob. Stop talking to me. So he did that, and Eddie put him in his place. And T.O. probably was like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. I'm tipping my hand. And Bob saw that and heard about it. Bob was like, I'm gonna get this little nigga. I'm gonna get this little nigga. But in the end, Bob just didn't think the T.O. was worth it. So Eddie told him, I got 10 million for the Devin fight, but you can't make that fight. That's what he said, DJ. But I mean, won't it like he was reckless eyeballing? That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, damn, this dude is really reckless with this shit. He know he not supposed to have did that. But he tried. He tried. And like I said, the purse bid went down, I think in February. Triller won. They outbidded everybody by like $6.18 million. Um, Eddie Hearn came in second with a little bit less. But like I said, if Triller don't get this thing done, the purse bid goes to the next highest bidder, which is Eddie Hearn, and it still would be a bigger payday that T.O. ever got and Camboso ever got. So they still winning. I think Bob was in last place. But I don't think Eddie gonna drop the ball like Triller has. Cause Triller, you new to this. You don't know what you're doing. Chalk it up to experience. That's why I say get it over with. All these Triller events, throw them on there. You gotta pay these motherfuckers anyway. Just get it over with. And count your blessings. that it wasn't that detrimental to your pockets. You can move on from there. Best pugilist in the building was Poppin' King. DJ said definitely gave me call Bob. So we at the point where Triller won, and the 6 million bid, highest payday for T.O. and Cambosa. Meanwhile, and in between time, T.O. ducking a fight with Devin the Dream Haney. You know he is. There's no other way to say what he doing but to say that. I mean, you think you're undisputed, and that's fine because that's what they telling you. But if you a real warrior, if you really got it in you, you would be like, I'm not leaving no motherfucking doubt. Devin has a WBC regular championship belt. Let me go get that up off him. Let me unass him of that. T.O. don't seem like he was pressed for that. He got a little chip on his shoulder at the time when all of this was going down. And I like Devin Haney. I really do. I like him as a fighter. I'm sick to death about people, challenging him. But for a while, to me, in the beginning, I was looking at it like, Devin, why are you so fixated on fighting champions? Just fight some other people. There's a lot of people in your division you could fight. But all you want to do is go after the champions. That don't make sense to me. I didn't just overnight think T.O. was a good fighter. I saw him fight after fight after fight. And then I was like, this nigga can fight. And that's what endeared me to him. You can fight. I've seen you fight, Devin, now, so I'm endeared to you. But it just seemed like to me, you prefer the ones with the belt instead of just getting some monsters like Isaac Cruz. I know I used to bother Fred and them about this little guy, Isaac Cruz Gonzalez. That motherfucker is the real deal. He can fight. And truth be told, like if Cambosa's flat out just say fuck it and he don't want to do the fight, guess who becomes T.O.'s mandatory? Isaac Cruz. Y'all check him out. The only bad part thing about him is he fights with his head. And I don't like it, but it is what it is. But the dude is relentless and he hits hard. And his opponents know it. So you better be real good on your pimping if you get in the ring with this dude. And I was like, Devin, why don't you get in with him? He's a puncher slash brawler. You're a boxer. Let's see how it works. DJ said Bob Arum told Devin Haney when he was chasing Lomachenko, it's too bad you signed with the wrong promoter. Devin works for himself. Bob wants some slaves. And speaking of slaves, I just thought about this. I was watching Black Fight Fan, um, and he played a clip of motherfucking Eddie Hearn's father talking about how they used to sign fighters and they used to do slave trading with this big ass coon sitting next to him named Dillian White laughing at that shit. Man, I'd have got up. I would have had to leave if nothing else. I would have had to leave if my promoter is sitting there talking about me like I'm a slave. Are you fucking crazy? But I found that crazy. But again, the independent streak and some people it ain't there, even though they think they do. A lot of people walk around thinking that they're independent, that they business minded, and you're not. It's not meant for everybody to have that ability. So it's okay. Just don't front and stop making decisions like you can. If I can't count, I'm gonna find somebody who will or can count, and but I got to be able to trust them. I'm not gonna sit up there and they be like, "Here, you count all your money and make sure you pay your taxes." If I don't understand percentages, shit, I got a cousin who's accountant. I'm calling her ass quick. Hey, the fuck did this mean? Because I know when I'm outside the realm of my abilities, and I'm going to seek help. A lot of these fighters don't do that. Instead, like T.O. and his daddy, y'all trying to make moves like y'all been in this game forever, with other fighters. Your experience, talking about T.O. Sr., or is that T.O. Jr.? I think his dad is a junior and T.O. is the third, but whatever. I think his dad, most experience is with his son. And his son, of course, young. So his only experience is what he's doing right now. But they're making decisions like they've been in the game 15 to 20 years and they coming up short. So Loma, like I said, Loma wanted the rematch, but TL was like, "Fuck you," and I don't blame him. So I ain't mad at him for not taking the rematch, and I ain't mad at him for even picking to fight Cambosa. You know, like him not fighting Devin, it, it do look like a duck tail. It just do. But I ain't mad at you for fight because you the man. You the man. You got all the belts. Best pugilist said true. Everybody ain't a boss. They need to stop acting like it. Where I'm not good at something, I will tell you the truth. I will sit my ass down and shut up. Remember I was in the chat, y'all saw talking about football? What was I doing? I was just like this. And I like football. I don't watch it that much enough to be knowledgeable enough to be like saying something about it. I look silly. I know when to shut up. DJ said that's what I'm saying, Miss T. He didn't sign with Top Rank, so it's the wrong promotion in Bob's eyes. Yeah. And they all said that Eddie act like that too. I mean, there's no fucking way as a person of color, but I'm gonna say black because I'm black. I ain't whatever T.O. is, but he is a person of color. There's no way that I'm gonna sign my life away to somebody like a Eddie Hearn or a Bob Arum, and they don't even respect black people. And anybody who is have color, whether you think you white or not, like you can look like Canelo Alvarez, you still a person of color, dude. Ain't no fucking way I'ma hear Bob Arum say what he say about black people, and then I'ma rock with him. Are you fucking crazy? That go for your ass too. Cause Bob Arum is a regular white guy. And if you ain't like him, then you already know how he prioritized you. That's crazy. You just said best pugilist sloop fam. So other than T.O. catching COVID-19, which is like I said was speculative, um, trying hard to see if the boxer themselves is at fault. That's what I'm trying hard to see. Who is it, the Triller or the boxers? And I got Triller with T.O. playing a small part. I don't find that Cambosa is at fault at all. I think he was an innocent bystander being caught up in this mess. Um, and like I said, T.O. have a part in it, but it was his game to play. And that's important, y'all. Yes, T.O. has a part in all this shit. But it is his game to play. It's his career to do what he wants to do. He his own man. And when you become a grown man and a grown woman in this world, you gotta get out there and put your best foot forward. You won't always make the right decisions or do the right things, but you gotta get out there and try. You can't be afraid of failure because everybody that you read about in history, they were supreme failures before they became a success. And any young fighters listening to my voice, remember that. Some of the best people in history were supreme failures before they became a success. And that's no different when you talk about the sporting world. You know, prime example, Michael Jordan, he didn't get picked for to play on his high school team. I don't know if he was shunned that much in college. I didn't follow his career, but I remember that being the narrative. He wasn't the go-to guy, but look what he became. And so many decades later, y'all motherfuckers spending $200 and shit or over $100 for his shoes. Who would have thought back then in high school was he gonna have this kind of notoriety? But he put his best foot forward. He wasn't afraid to fail, and he worked hard. And look at what he became. And that's how all of y'all need to act as young fighters in this game. So I'm not mad at T.O. for even playing his part, but he wasn't paying attention. You got to pay attention to detail. Sometimes you got to play your part, and it might be looking good right up until that moment, and then it just goes downhill. You got to be saying, okay, that was close, but my heart was in the right place. It just didn't work out. And take the motherfucking lesson and do better the next time. That's all. Best food to say, no, my manager told me Bob Arum doesn't like to sign black fighters, but he prefers to sign Latino fighters or other ethnic fighters. So I understand why he signed with them. Yeah, he do, but y'all gotta remember too, Teofimo is not Mexican. The preferred Latino group these days is Mexican. And Teofimo, he's Panamanian, I think. But all those Caribbean countries, or in those hell, all of them, they got black in them. That's why they look like they look. But some of them don't like to claim that shit or even recognize. That's why you look the way you look, especially if you talk about Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Panamanians. All of them fuckers, they got black in them. All of them. And I don't mean to say fuckers in a bad way, but I'm just saying, all y'all motherfuckers, don't pull a Canelo on me and shit. I ain't trying to hear it. All y'all motherfuckers got black in you, even Mexicans. But the preferred Latino group right now is Mexican. But the fact that Bob would even say that he made more money off of black people, what is he talking about? The highest grossing fights ever. If you want to go to top 5, Floyd Mayweather right now. But it was always nigga, nigga, nigga. Who was Bob? Who ass was he up? Well, he won't up no white dude ass back in the day, no Latino. He was up Muhammad Ali in them ass, wishing he was Don King. So, you know what I'm saying? Best Pugilist said salute that DJ. So, I'm not mad at T.O. for playing his part or playing the part that he played. Son, you didn't do too well. But it's okay. You can recover if you stop with the bullshit. Sometimes you got to say, okay, enough is enough. I didn't play this hand well. Let me regroup and let me just go ahead and take my licks and, go ahead and get this out the way and just hopefully I'll do better. That's what I'm thinking his mindset should be, but it's not. Okay. His brand is going to suffer. And this point is in jeopardy. His brand, like who he is. Yeah, you a so-called undisputed fighter, but you might be irrelevant to the boxing world, and that should never be the case. You should have red carpet treatment, but you're making moves that prevent you from having that. And so you got to take onus into that and think about the part you play and just stop doing what you doing to add to the confusion. You know what I'm saying? Even his fans are like falling off. I was a fan. I'm still somewhat of a fan. I will watch the fight, but would I break my ass to go see one? I probably would have months ago. But now I'm just like I see it when I see it. I catch the reruns. The boxing guy's gonna upload it to YouTube anyway. Any fight that he have or any fights that I miss, I'm gonna get it one way or another. I'll get it. But before I was like, oh, let me make sure I get to the TO fight. Let me, how much it is, 20, 30, $40. Let me go ahead and put something on it. I don't feel that way now, TO. I don't, because y'all are making a mess. Why I say is he messing up, the lightweight division? Like I asked the question, what has he done? Is TO messing it up? Why I say that is because I'm thinking about how all of them acted. Why I lay it at his feet is because there's an old saying, attitude reflects leadership. Let me say that again. Attitude reflects leadership. Who is the leader? Teofimo. Indirectly, directly, however you want to call it. He is the leader of the lightweight division. He holds all the belts. He's the leader. And look at the mess he's making. And then the other guy's supposed to think that, they look at him and what he doing, and then they gonna sit up there and fly straight. What mentorship? Like, who do they have to emulate? They looking at him. A lot of the 135 division is a lot of young guys. So maybe they all still kids mentally. I don't know. But I can't give you a pass when you're over 21. You're a grown ass man. But attitude does reflect leadership. If you fucking off, then why shouldn't Ryan fuck off? Why shouldn't JoJo fuck off? I ain't gonna say Devin fucking off because he not. And I ain't gonna say Tank. Tank, hmm, just a little bit. But it's not his fault. It's how they moving him. All that jumping up and down in different weight classes, I didn't never think that was good for Tank. I said finish what he started, clean out the division. I believe whatever division Tank in, he can become undisputed in that division. And I don't say that about a lot of people. I don't even say it about my guy. This is why I know I'm not biased. I don't think that about Terrence Crawford, but I think that about Tank Davis. I think that he could have been undisputed at 130. I think he could be undisputed at 135. I think he could be undisputed at 140. And it's enough for me to think. This is why I'm a fan. But all that up and down moving and shit, it's chaotic. Your career can seem chaotic. And that's why I didn't agree with that. But who is the leader of the 135? That will be Teofimo Lopez. And if he's fucking off, everybody else gonna fuck off. But if his attitude was that of a real warrior and not playing these games, imagine what the others would do. If he's the bomb.com, he's the leader, he's the creme de la creme, how do you think Ryan and them gonna have an excuse to do otherwise, do things otherwise? They can't. They can't. They got to emulate the leader. And TL, you suck as a leader. You need to get better at that, especially if you think you're gonna move up to another weight division and become undisputed. You got to get better with that. You got to. So I'm gonna name off some of these fighters. So I actually went and looked up the list of how they rank. So you got people like Mega Yoshi Nakatani, and you got Isaac Cruz, and I'm guessing they're 11 and 12 respectfully. But you got Camboso is ranked number 10. Luke Campbell is ranked number 9. Fortuna is ranked number 8. Jorge Linares is ranked number 7. Richard Comey is ranked number 6. Devin Haney number 5. I think it should be higher than that. This one is killing me. Ryan Garcia. If that ain't some goddamn sensational writing for your ass, I don't know. Consensus writing, revisionist writing. Like this shit is right before our eyes. Sensational writing with Ryan Garcia. He's ranked number 4. He is not no damn number 4. He should be up there like number 15. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Tank number 3, Loma number 2. Okay, how is Loma number 2 when Devin has the belt? And I know that Loma ducked Devin. You see how this shit don't make sense? But I guess if you got everybody from the leader on down to the lowest ranking person acting a donkey, then what can you say? And it's crazy because the whole division suffers because y'all could, with that talent, with that kind of talent, all these names that I'm mentioning, y'all could make it a money maker like Floyd did the welterweight. So yes, T.O., this is the part you play in fucking up your division. DJ said T.O. Jr. got some hounds at 140 waiting on him. Same thing with Devin, Tank, and Lomachenko. And let's not forget, Oscar De La Hoya actually said out his mouth that he is waiting for Tank and Devin to move up to 140 before he would let his fighters, i.e. Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz, go for a title fight. He's going to wait till they go up because he don't see them beating them. And since Oscar De La Hoya has also said about himself, thanks to Black Fight Fan for playing the clip, that he has not done drugs in the past. He been clean for 6 months. I said, what the fuck? He was bragging about the fact that I haven't had a drink and I haven't, been sniffing, for 6 months. You bragged about that, shorty? You actually said that? He should have asked a woman because we're gonna put 5 on everything. It could be 6 months. Be like, I haven't drank or snorted cane for about 5 years and 6 months. Oscar, if you're gonna dress like us, you need to know how to act like us, okay? Okay. But that's what he said. And I think at this time in his life, Oscar, he's being truthful. Sometimes he kind of got that when people get older, they don't give a fuck. They ain't got time to be coy. They just coming straight out with the facts and the truth. That's what Oscar is right now in his life. He's a little early to be jumping into that, You would expect that if he was like in his 60s, but he ain't number 48. And them drugs and ate his ass up. But he was honest. He was honest. And for Ryan Garcia to be okay with that and JoJo Diaz to be okay with your promoter saying some nut shit like that, that's crazy. If I was working for him, if I was Ryan and he said, I'd be like, wait a minute, player, don't speak for me. I want all the motherfucking smoke because he hurting your brand. You don't know if I, man, and I'm not wishing that on Oscar, but he has a drug problem and a drinking problem. We don't know if he's gonna be here today, and you gonna let somebody like that dictate how your career gonna go. God forbid something happen to Oscar and he's gone. What the fuck can you do, Ryan? What the fuck can you do, JoJo? That's why it's important to use your mind. Use the mind that God gave you, or have good people around that is smart. That's just crazy. I was like, don't speak for me, Oscar. You said Oscar. Best people to say Oscar is a fucking clown. Yes, he is. Yes, indeed. But he spoke the truth. So we all know what's going down. That's duck. That's obvious duck. You know what I'm saying? I will say, Devin, there's all these people that I mentioned. I guarantee you that Comey will fight you. And I ain't gonna say guarantee because I don't know these folks, but I'm 99.9% sure that Comey will fight you. I'm sure Nakatani will fight you. You ain't gotta wait on these motherfucking bitch ass niggas like Ryan Garcia and JoJo who fighting over the chance to be yo mandatory. But then once they get to the precipice of fighting you, then I want to fight him. I want to go back. I want to go backwards. Kind of nut shit is that? And then if your promoter don't believe in you, JoJo and Ryan, and you don't believe in you, why the fuck should we as fans believe in you? But going back to what my original thing was, TL, you are messing up the division. You are because you are the leader. By default, with all the belts, you are the leader. And attitude reflects leadership. So clean it up. Miss T said, clean that shit up. Clean that division up. And the Peace Stealer is this song. To throw insult to injury, what did TL do in the midst of all of this shit? After hearing what Bob had said, after seeing that Bob don't give a damn about you, that he ain't putting no money in you, what you do? You re-signed or extended your contract with him for 2 years. How dumb? How dumb can you motherfucking be? You know what I'm saying? It's not like you live a flashy life. A couple of million in your pocket would have took you long. Hey, I would live like a queen over this bitch. Give me $2 million. Triller was ready to pay you either 3 or damn near 3 million for that fight. All you had to do was go through with it. If it didn't make money, who the fuck cares? That's Triller fault. If that money is good as yours, I wouldn't give a fuck. I don't care if Triller, Eddie, whoever paid for it. That's money I didn't have before. And you could have lived decent while you sit there and wait until you figure out your next move. And you don't have to be frantic with trying to figure out your next move. But no, what did you do? The man you was trying to jump ship with, the man that caused you the reckless eyeball with Eddie Hearn, you go and sign an extension with his ass for 2 more years. I That shit is just crazy to me. So, like I said, attitude reflects leadership. Uh, we talked about how they avoid Devin Haney, how people is making excuses not to fight. Your own promoters coming out talking about we waiting for people to lead a division before we let our fighters go fight somebody. It's once bad behavior is accepted, it open the lines, and the line drawn in the sand starts to disappear. It's a free fall now. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Teofimo, that's for you. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. If you get your shit together and you start acting like a leader, then who knows, just maybe the guys that's in your division will follow suit. But you'll never know until you try it. We know that Cambosa has not signed that contract to be moved. I don't really blame him. But I don't know what kind of leverage Triller got. Because if Camboso don't sign it, the only thing is Triller either got to perform on that date or they got to turn over the purse bid to Eddie Hearn. And you know Eddie going to get it done. And it will be a different day. So if you stuck on, I'm not trying to move the date, Cambosa, think about it big picture wise. If Eddie gets the bid, you will make less. You will lose $1 million. At this point, you in the mix of the storm. Ride the wave out, ride the storm out. Get your money and never fuck with Triller again. That's the answer. The answer ain't to scrap that shit and go with the next highest bidder and you left $1 million on the table. That's fucking crazy. So I'm gonna move on from that. That's how I feel about T.O. messing up his division, which could be is on the verge to be a good money making division. Y'all got some heavy hitters in there. You got Tank, Devin, T.O., Lomachenko, Comey is pretty good. You got some good fighters in there. And y'all can make it do what it do. Take a note out of Floyd Mayweather's page. Why don't you? But in other news, Castillo, y'all know that's the guy that fought on AJ's undercard that got severely knocked out that probably shouldn't have been in the fight. He has passed his brain scales. He will be fine. He was released from the hospital like 3 hours after the knockout. But that was a serious knockout for a person who ain't even like all that. Callum Smith, he's not a notable fighter like he's like all that. I know Canelo, I think Canelo fought him, but whatever. It won't the best knockout I ever seen. But like as far as Callum throwing the punch, but it was the best response to a knockout. Like it was a crazy response. I ain't say the best because I'm not happy that guy went through it, but it was on the verge of like when Charlo hit Rosario. It was that kind of knockout that dude was shaking. Like you could just tell something was wrong with his brain because your body don't shake like that unless your brain is fucked up. Nerves, all that stuff connected. Best pugilist said Eddie Hearn would love to have that fight now. That his golden boy got his ass kicked. Like I said, he would the other day. Yes, yes, indeed. Eddie Hearn will definitely. He looking for his next coon because they got a slave plantation over there. Dillian White's on there. He's a young buck, and Joshua's a young buck. You know what I'm saying? But he got a plantation over there, and if they don't see that, if they cool with just making the money, but why, like what Anthony Joshua's just is, sign that lifetime career contract? That's crazy to me. You want to be a slave all your adult life? Give us free. I thought we was born free. You know, Slavery been over for century. Century plus years. You going back into a voluntary indentured servitude? Yeah, okay. I guess the money is that good. Um, some kind of way, Dillian White coon ass is a mandatory for the winner of Wilder and Fury 3. How that happen? Cause y'all know that Bob Arum said he'll pay Joshua set aside money to face Usyk. Bob talking like after this Wilder fight, Fury is going to fight Usyk. And um if AJ would have won, then they would be like Fury and AJ. You know what I'm saying? But if I know they preparing for Wilder, if Wilder wins, which we all think he will, it's gonna be some bullshit. You already see it coming. Dillian White is gonna be the mandatory. Why? Who the fuck is Dillian White compared to Deontay? He didn't even beat Anthony Joshua. He ain't even the top dog. Yeah, it's time for Castillo to call it a career. He shouldn't fight another. I'm telling you, that boy, he looks soft, man. And I'm not. I hate saying that about any grown man, but he looks soft, and I'm talking about the way his body was put together, like as far as the flabbiness of his skin. He didn't look conditioned. He didn't look tight. You know, He looked like he could have been sitting on the couch. This how I envision it. He was sitting on the couch and he got a call. And they was like, yo, we'll give you like 70,000, 70K to come get on this AJ card. I don't know how much he made. And he was like, bet the easy 70,000 I ever made. But it ain't worth it, dog. You could be eating through a straw today. You could be like a paraplegic right now. You don't play boxing. And I think he went into it kind of with that notion because he didn't have the stamina or condition. If somebody like Callum Smith hit you that caused you to go through them changes, boxing is not for you. Seek life elsewhere, career wise. Ain't no shame to it. You got your money. I hope you got paid more than 70,000 or something, to be honest. But I don't want to see him in a boxing ring ever again. And I'm happy that he made it out there and, shout out to his family and him for making out. But don't do that shit no more. Um, but Dillian White, going back to that, he's gonna be a mandatory for Deontay. And I know if Tyson Fury win, Dillian White won't be the mandatory for Tyson Fury, but he will be a mandatory for Deontay. Now, why is that? Why we got different rules, people? When they do stuff like that, I start questioning. Like, why we got different rules? Dillian White need to sit his coon ass taco meat having on the face ass down somewhere. Please have several seats, sir. You don't want it. You just a gatekeeper. You're a slave. Like you doing massive bidding. That's what you're doing. And I can't stand it. Deontay, where are you all the while? I be acting crazy. Deontay. I'm like, boy, have several seats and shade that taco meat. What does like I said, it only applied to Wilder because if Fury win, Dillian ain't his mandatory. Bob already telling you what's gonna happen. He's gonna pay AJ set aside money so Fury can get at Usyk. But he's Deontay's mandatory. I don't know how you have two different rules. Now I know how, I know why, but I'd love to hear why they have two different rules from their mouths. Best usually say, yeah, one of my young proteges who started in my program gave Castillo his first defeat, Joseph Mack Williams. Whoa. So this dude been around, he ain't get that serious. He not that serious about boxing. That's sad. DJ said WBC is full of poop. No other explanation. Period. Full stop. Hating at his best. Eddie Hearn got the nerve to say Wilder is not even a top four heavyweight. That is hating at its best. How you gonna say that? How you gonna say that Wilder is in the top four? But anybody who beats Wilder or best Wilder in any kind of way, their name go to the top of the list. So Eddie Hearn is a hater. We know that he always wanted Wilder for himself, and Wilder didn't want him. Wilder didn't choose you, Eddie. He wasn't reckless eyeballing. He didn't want you. Top rank, another news. Top rank wins the purse bid for Arthur Beterbiev and Marcus Brown. Now I heard Fred talking about Marcus Brown as a woman beater. I don't like that shit. But I don't know that much about him to even speak on it. And see, that's me being fair. Cause y'all should know I really don't like dudes putting their hands on women. Like it is the worst. Like I wouldn't give two shits about your ass if that's what you was into. Um, I might even do you dirty. Like if you was coming for it, I'd find a way to fire your ass. I don't like that shit. Cause that is no different than somebody beating on a special needs person or something when you know you can win the fight. Why would you even want to fight somebody you know you can beat? That who does that? Like what mindset think that that's cool? I don't understand any man beating a woman like you can beat her. I'm not saying women, and let's keep it a buck. I'm not saying that we can't do some shit that'll cause a motherfucker to have a reflex. Like, bada, slap your ass by reflex. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that we as women should realize, the strength y'all possess, what y'all are capable of. But it's not just about fear, it's about respect. Like, I'm not going to do to you what I don't want you to do to me. But if you don't have the self control, within yourself to not raise your hand at a woman and you're a boxer, then nigga, fuck you. But I don't know enough about his situation to speak intelligently. I have never researched him. I did say I want him to win the fight against Better BF because Canelo old bitch ass is gunning for Better BF, and we know that Canelo don't move unless he sees something. Canelo sees something. You know, he just trying to check boxes and be the best he can be with a cheating background. It ain't just Canelo in the ring with you. It's all that extra, that tea that he sipped, them tacos that he ate the other day, all that shit in the ring with you too, and maybe a ref or a couple of judges at a time. But I know the Canelo gunning for those light heavyweights like Better BF and Bivol and Joe Smith. He's gunning for them because he figured all three of them weak to Canelo, but you notice Canelo don't really try to fight black fighters. He just don't. Now I'm not saying Brown is on the level of a Charlo, and I'm including David Benavidez in with black fighters. He's not black, but I'm including him in there. Canelo don't want to smoke with no Charlos and no David Benavidez. He don't want that. But so I wonder, would he want to fight Brown? If Brown gets the upset and he gets the belt, would Canelo be interested in the belt at that point? Because we already know he wants the belts now. But would he be interested if Brown has it? I don't know. Is Brown all that where he can beat a Canelo? I don't know. But I do hope that Brown win because Brown probably ain't gonna play Canelo's game. You know, Canelo called all three of them fighters booty. Like he was basically like saying they won't shit. I'm talking about Better BF, Bivol, and Joe Smith. And that's a shame that Canelo feel that way about them. But he must see something, and he must got it in the bag because he don't do nothing unless it's guaranteed. I'm gonna start calling him the guarantee, the guarantee. um, so that's why I hope Brown win. But if you're a woman beater, man, you can cancel Christmas. I don't give a fuck at that point. Like. But again, I'm not gonna talk about you as a woman beater. I know I said it out my mouth, but I don't know these things, people. So don't take it as me calling him that. I'm just saying I don't know, but if that's true, then I just need y'all to know how I feel about people who do those things. I can't stand them. It's not necessary. It's crazy. It makes you look weak. Moving on from him because I don't even want to do an investigative nothing on him just to see because I don't want to see him that way. But I'm not gonna hide from it, and I'm not gonna be biased with it. So Team Usyk is glad to take the rematch with Joshua, which they was like shit already. They were like, I'm glad Joshua activated the rematch clause because we ready. They believe that they can beat his ass again. They believe that if Joshua try to go and make adjustments, like in his training to face a Usyk type fighter, it's gonna be worse. They think it's gonna be quicker than what it was because Joshua tried to box him. He was a little scared, but they just think it's gonna be worse. You know. Oh, by the way, everybody looking on Facebook or in the chat, if y'all want to call in, y'all can call in. The number at the bottom of the screen, the phone line's been open. If y'all want to call in. Um, so like I said, Usyk manager and them came straight up. Yeah, we ready, and we're gonna beat them worse. And even Bob Arum believes that AJ is gonna lose that fight. That's why he wants to pay AJ set aside money so Tyson can get at it. But hell, Tyson got to win this fight coming up. I ain't saying it's a total impossibility, but it's pretty much a total impossibility. Deontay gonna kill him. He gonna get him. He gonna get him. He gonna get him. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be a terrible night for Tyson, and it's gonna be a great night for me. And I'm sure a lot of other people. But Bob ain't slick. Bob know what he doing. The deadline to I don't know if it's to activate the rematch clause or the deadline to fight. Because it didn't really say I couldn't, distinguish between the two. But the deadlines are February/March. So Either they got to fight by then, or they got to at least have an activated contract signed, and this, that, and the other. And so, but Usyk want that, and this is the beautiful thing. Usyk saying he won't bullshit when he said he wants to be undisputed. So if we know Tyson's Fury is going to get beat by Deontay, it's what we feel we know, and I would be highly shocked if that don't happen. But let's say that Tyson get dogged or scalded, as I say, by Deontay Wilder. Usyk is saying, I still want to want to get undisputed. That means he's saying he don't give a fuck which one of them got the WBC. He coming for them. Let me clean this shit up over here. Let me go ahead and seal the deal with AJ and beat him for the second time. And then I'm gonna come over there and take care of that shit right there. I was like, music to my ears. Because if Deontay win, which I think he will, then that means Usyk is coming for Deontay. And Usyk, I look, I will be highly shocked if you're able to beat Deontay. Deontay ain't gonna give up his height, and you better hope you don't get hit, because you got hit a couple of times by AJ, and it stung you. Just imagine what the fuck Deontay will do. Now you did beat AJ pretty good. You dog walked his ass, but he did sting you a couple of times. We ain't gonna act like we ain't see that. You know what I'm saying? And so I just like Usyk's energy. Shout out to him. I have nothing bad to say about that man. That man seemed like he's a man of his word. He's a manly man, as the Furies like to say. But he's really is. He really is. He mean what he say, and he say what he mean. And that's an endearing quality to have these days in the boxing world. Moving on to Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant wants all the smoke. You know, he calling out Benavidez. That's not new. And the Charlo. Caleb don't give a fuck. I like that too. I like that attitude, that confidence of it all. I love it because it just makes for better fighting, you know. Um, I believe Caleb believes that he is the goods. And that's all that's needed. And like I said, you get out there, you try your best, you put your best foot forward. What can you be mad at? You already a champ when you doing that shit. You know, you people don't realize, like, you already a winner just being here on earth. You know, higging me on my soapbox. You're already a winner just being here on earth. If y'all realize how hard it is to actually get pregnant and have a kid, you would look at yourself differently. And that's all of us. It is so hard to procreate. It is really, really, really hard. But we make it look easy, don't it? The animal kingdom, and we're in the animal kingdom as humans. We're intelligent animals. I know some people don't like to say we're in the animal kingdom, but we are. But as humans, we make it look easy. As any animals, they make it look easy. But if I sat down here and broke down what it would take for a man and woman to get together and make a baby, that shit is damn near next to impossible. It's hard. It's really hard. But we the ratio. That's why y'all have um billions of members, that y'all deliver in y'all package. And that's why we have our setup the way we have our setup. It's to combat against the hardest. It's to combat against the barriers that get in the way of just even trying to get pregnant. So, having said that, I'm gonna say to all of us out there, we are all winners. So now, go from that platform, go forward. You're in sports, you're academic, you're whatever. If you try your best, and I mean, just give it a good effort, what can you be mad at? You can only be happy. So to the lightweight division, I hope that y'all see this. I hope that the message get to you some kind of way, osmosis or whatever, and that y'all just start saying to yourself, as long as I try hard, I'm not a failure. Get this notion out of your head that you have to have a O. That era has come and gone. That was for Floyd Mayweather and Floyd Mayweather only. There will be another one that come along, but ain't no time soon. Don't be looking for it that hard. And I don't know if Floyd even knew he was gonna have the record that he was gonna have in the end of his career. But what was meant for Floyd is meant for Floyd. Maybe Floyd had to have that so he can usher in this new way of thinking of how to be independent and be your own boss. Because certainly in his era, a lot of boxers have done that. Look at Errol Spence. Look at Devin Haney. You think if they came up during a time where everybody was dependent on Don King and Bob Arum and God knows who else, that they would have had the notion to think that way? Even Muhammad Ali didn't think that way. But now you got somebody like Floyd who comes along and show you the blueprint. And look at y'all. Look at y'all now. Look at God. That's what I say. But don't be afraid, lightweight division, to do great and just leave it in the field. Don't miss the opportunity to make your division a glory division. That's all I can say. If anybody want to call, you can call at 706 804 4449. 706 804 4449. I'll wait for about a half a second. I'll wait for about a half a second. I don't know how long. If you want to call in or if you want to beam in, I have put the link in the chat. Let me do it one more time. But that's all I had to say. I just feel like they need to take care of their division while they there. It's y'all division. Y'all can make it what you want. Because guess what? If Tio is getting to a point, if he had got to a point where he could pull in $10 to $15 million a fight, what the fuck y'all think y'all gonna make? Y'all gonna make y'all gonna make better money than you making now. If he rise, y'all all rise. That's how it is in the world. That's exactly how it is. All boat rises. You know, they if one rise, they all ride. Rise. I'm sorry. So you want the success of your leaders because they set the tone for how you got to treat that whole division. But what do y'all have right now? Y'all got ducking going on, obvious ducking. Waiting for people to move out the division. You can't even say I'm waiting for him to age out because all of y'all some young Rudy poops. So you waiting for people to move out the division. You coming up with all these extracurriculars of why you can't do it. You got some people that's probably cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, who be taking what. We haven't had nobody get caught at 135. But y'all have a unique opportunity. The world is watching y'all. And we're waiting. We're watching y'all with interest. And look at what y'all doing from your leader on down to the lowest of y'all, which is Ryan Garcia. Full of shit. The only one that's clean in that motherfucker really is Devin Haney. I can't put that jacket on him. Tank, I can't really put that jacket on him. But if you let them move you like they move you, you might could wear the jacket too. There's a whole lot of tomfoolery. Get out y'all own way. Make y'all division great again. So I see we didn't have any callers, but I thank y'all for coming in. And maybe I'll put the microscope on somebody else the next show. But thank y'all for coming in. And remember, when you know better, you do better. And that's all it is. Don't be afraid to try for perfection. You're never going to get it. Understand that I know, we all know we're never going to be perfect, but that don't mean you don't try. Just strive to be as perfect as one can be. You're already a winner because you're here on earth. So when you know better, you do better. Thank you. I'll see y'all tomorrow.